My name is Rashmi Kothary, and I'm from the Ottawa Hospital Research Institute at the University of Ottawa.
Fantastic. And how long has the University of Ottawa been involved with families of SMA?
The University of Ottawa and the researchers have been involved with families of SMA, I think, right from the get-go, because in Ottawa we have Dr. Alex McKenzie, who's making faces at me right now, who was one of the original people looking for the gene for SMA. And I showed up about 12, 13 years ago and began SMA research. So my first meeting of FSMA was the third or fourth meeting. So a long time now.
Fantastic. So you have some great history. As a researcher, what are you most excited about that's very promising for SMA research coming up in the near future?
I think there are a number of exciting things to consider for SMA. Number one is just the expansion of the individuals and individual laboratories that are working on the problem. And that has actually led to the development of a lot of potential therapeutics, which we didn't have 5 years ago. So the excitement for me is how we're now moving into a realm of preclinical testing, and in fact getting closer to clinical testing of various approaches, and that's the exciting part for me. So the promise of all those years is now coming through, and that's something to look forward to.
How important is the organization, is Families of SMA itself, to the research process and to the University of Ottawa?
Well, I was just thinking about this morning at the session, and the importance of FSMA to researchers at not just the University of Ottawa, but internationally. I noticed that it's now the International Families of Spinal Muscular Atrophy Research Conference, which says a lot. That the organization has been around to support researchers from the beginning, and has now expanded itself into countries that we didn't even think about before, to bring the whole global community to fight this terrible disease. So that's where an organization like this has been so instrumental, bringing people together, keeping them together, getting us to talk to each other, and going forward on a much faster scale.
What are you looking forward to the most out of this weekend's conference?
Well, I already had a whole day at Universal Studios at this conference afforded me, but I believe for the scientific side of things, it's to again collaborate and communicate our findings with other researchers in the world, and the hope is that this will lead to new directions of research that we didn't have going before I came to this meeting. And that's always the case when we go back to our home institutions, is how we are all excited by what we've heard, and we now move into areas that we probably wouldn't have gone if we hadn't been at the meeting. So that's the exciting part for me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Those were fantastic comments. Thank you. Very encouraging.